What advice do you have for domains to invest in? Do you have thoughts on triple digits? Like for when it comes to numbers as having value, we've seen a run on those in ENS. We've started to see some of that happen on Unstoppable, but not necessarily from a price perspective, but just from some of the digits being bought up. I believe all NFT triple digits are gone now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first and foremost, as I just mentioned, extend your timeline, right? When I buy a domain name, even a .com, even a super premium .com domain name, my investment time horizon is 10 years. And in some cases longer, but my expectation is 10 years. So I buy that domain and I expect, even in a, let's say, relatively mature market such as .com, I expect and anticipate a 10-year hold time. And keep in mind, that is with hundreds of billions of dollars every single year flowing into the venture capital market into startups, and all these startups are utilizing these domain names to launch. Every new product, every new service, all of it requires a domain name from the legacy internet. And even in that environment, I have a 10-year time horizon. So first and foremost, when you're making investment decisions, you need a long time horizon, 10 plus years. I just said that, I think it's 15 to 20 years is the mainstream adoption cycle, and we're probably 5 years into that. So it makes absolute perfect sense that you should be looking at a 10, 15, 20-year time horizon with these investments. You don't need to buy it and flip it tomorrow. In terms of numeric domains, we've seen this movie before in .com, right? We saw the run up in 2014, 15, 16 of numeric .com domain names. First it was the 2 numbers, went to $1 million. Then the 3 numbers, went to several $100,000. And then it was 4 numbers, they went to tens of thousands of dollars. And then it was 5 numbers, went to single figure thousands of dollars. And even 6 numbers became worth, as long as it didn't have a 7 or a 0 or a 4, it had, they were worth hundreds of dollars. Okay. In 2016, 17, that whole thing blew up, and, they all lost 60% plus of the value that it had run up to. Now, 2number.com is still incredibly scarce and it's still super valuable. A 3number.com is still super scarce and is still incredibly valuable. And a 4number.com is relatively scarce, right? There's only 1,000 of them. Or I guess 10,000 of them. Valuable, but at a fraction of what it was. Okay. Yeah. I think that, it's interesting with these Web3 domains. In the legacy route, that phenomena happened on .com. And almost nothing, to a very limited extent, .net, .org, but almost nothing. And so we see that happening on the ENS domains, and I don't see any reason why you can't extrapolate that to other domain extensions. But obviously, the more domain extensions there are, the more dilutive the price appreciation is going to be. I think that when you think about what we talked about earlier, what the future utility of these things is, you want to have something memorable. If I'm going to tell you, hey, Josh, send me $50 for dinner last night, send it over to, even if I send it to Andrew Rosener.x or .wallet, you might not know how to spell my last name. You might mistype it. It's a little bit longer. It's better than sending you the wallet address, but it's not perfect. Sending it to Drew.wallet is better. And in the same way, in a multicultural, multi-language world, sending it to, 456.wallet is really easy. Nobody is going to forget that, right? Nobody's going to forget 888.wallet or 888.x or 888.eth, right? These are highly memorable naming conventions that have been proven out in various aspects in language and in domain names and in social media handles and all the various places we use naming conventions. And so, yeah, I think that they're great. Now, what is the value? I don't know. My guess is that the values that we're seeing some of these .eth domains trade at is likely highly speculative and probably a bubble. But I could be wrong, like I said, there's only 10,000 four number, in any one domain extension. And so that's pretty limited. And those are really easy to remember. And some are better than others. So I certainly believe that the value will be pervasive, but I don't know that, them trading for, all of them being worth, a floor of tens of thousands of dollars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yet to be seen.
What I feel like what I hear is, some numbers even hold more value over others. And, at least with Unstoppable, we have a lot of different extensions versus, .eth, you just got
including
one.
.888.
Yeah. And including .888. And I'm curious, is there one extension over the others that you have a preference for or target over others?
I'm actually responsible for the vast majority of these Unstoppable domain extensions. It was my list that I came up with as an advisor to Unstoppable. So, I kind of love all of them because I came up with most of them. But I think my single favorite is .x, right? And for a variety of reasons. One is I believe X is the most important letter. X is everything and nothing at the same time. It's the ultimate variable. And if you're going to have a single letter domain extension, X, in my mind, is like the one you can get away with most because it doesn't need to mean anything. It's just X, and X is cool. And again, back to these naming conventions. We've been throwing X completely arbitrarily on the back of commonly used words in order to create a brand for a very long time, right? And so basically since the inception of the internet, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that X is my favorite. And I think that another reason for that is also the fact that there will never be, or never is a dangerous word, in the foreseeable future, there will not be a .x in the legacy root. And so that in and of itself means that there are not going to be any collisions with the legacy root. And that avoids quite a large problem. And I think, it just makes it, obviously, I've always believed shorter is better. For the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, shorter is better. And so having a one-character domain extension means that you can potentially have a two-character domain, right? One on the left, one on the right, or I guess three if you count the dot. But
yeah,
I just like X. I think X, like I said, X is everything and it's nothing. It's the ultimate variable. It's just cool. X is cool.
You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.